Hello everybody. I'm going to be making oatmeal cookies today. It's kind of cold in Minnesota here. I have some walnuts here. I always keep my nuts in the freezer. These are from, wow, quite a while ago, but they'll stay fresh in the freezer. I've got them in a bag. I know nuts are normally not in oatmeal cookies, but I'm changing the oatmeal cookie recipe slightly, so you want to stay tuned. So I've got my oven at 350. I'm going to toast these walnuts. These are kind of coarse. I'm not sure if you can see that. They're kind of a coarse chop, and we're going to chop them up a little bit more after they're toasted. But I'm going to do a half a cup. Well, I guess they're kind of whole. I'm sorry, I stand corrected. They're kind of whole walnuts. Okay. Nice, good, healthy cup there. We're going to spread these out. So, yeah, these are kind of fresh out of the freezer, and I'm still letting my oven come to temp. And I'm going to spread them out. You'll toast these for about 10 to 15 minutes at 350. Usually once you can start smelling the walnuts, they're pretty much done. And then you want to take them out and cool them completely. So the next thing that I have is, these are dried apricots. And I got a couple packages, but I need a cup. Now you're going to say, hey, wait a minute, I thought there was raisins in oatmeal cookies. Yes, there normally is, but because I have got, I'm struggling with type 2 diabetes, the apricots have a lower carb count than, they're like a 26, but it's got 3 grams of fiber, so that brings it down to 22. And what I do is, I don't chop them. I take a scissors and I cut them. My counter is clean here, alright? It's been cleaned up. And I just start cutting them into strips. And I'm going to cut them about the size of a raisin into my cup here. And cutting them with the scissors just makes it go faster because I'm lazy. Now what happens in the cookie is they stay soft, they don't get hard, and it just gives it a nice flavor. I mean, even if you don't like apricots, it's still good. So that's going to take me a while. I'm going to chop up a cup of apricots. So just to compare the sugar values of an apricot versus, I did find a box of raisins in my cupboard. So the first thing is 120 calories for a quarter cup. Um, 5 to 6 apricots is 110. And let me tell you, that's a little bit more than a quarter of a cup. And going down to the carbs, again, it was 26 with 3 of fiber, which makes it 23. And then the other sugars, hope you can see that, is 15 grams. Okay, now we go over to the raisins here. The carbs is 32 grams with only 2 grams of fiber. That makes it 30 for the carbs. And then the sugars, 29 grams of sugar. So these are great for people who want to have a cookie but can't have the raisins. Just thought I'd show you that. Okay, I've got my apricots cut up. And I'm going to move on to the next part. So in my bowl here, I've got 1 whole stick of softened butter plus 6 tablespoons. Not quite 2 full sticks. And because I've got cats, especially one who sheds a lot, I put all this butter in this bowl and then I put it in my oven overnight because I knew I wasn't going to make cookies last night, but I wanted my butter ready. So I am going to, first I'm going to cream this butter. If it's not working. What's wrong with my things here? Wonder if my mixer decided to take a poo on me. Might have to get out the big mixer. I think it's kaput. Oh boy. I'll be back. Okay, my camera can't really see into the bowl. Alright, got my butter going. I am going to whip it up. Oops, let me back out a little bit. I'm going to whip it just to get it nice and fluffy. Next is my sugars. 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, packed, and 1/2 cup of just plain white sugar. Alright, we're going to cream the butter and the sugar really well. I'm going to scrape the bowl and the paddle. Next I'm going to add 2 eggs. And we're going to beat those. Incorporate those real well. I'm going to scrape that paddle again. Alright. also need a teaspoon of vanilla, which I'm going to add that in right now too. I'm just going to eyeball it. Never have too much vanilla. And a quick paddle. Just mix that in. So I'm going to just take my paddle off. And because I'm not particularly fond of the bottom of this, I might literally transfer it back to that other bowl, because it's got a smooth bottom and you can make sure everything gets mixed up thoroughly. So I'll be back. Okay, I've got this in the bowl. I have another bowl here. This is 1.5 cups of flour and a half a teaspoon of just regular table salt, and 1 teaspoon of soda, and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And I'm going to just mix these up. I know that sounds like a lot of cinnamon, but it really is delicious. So I'm just going to mix this real well. And we're going to bring our other bowl back right here. And we're going to dump this in. And we're going to mix this real well. You want a sturdy spoon because this is going to start to get difficult as everything gets mixed in. So the original recipe, I've made it, but I wanted to change it. Number one, I wanted chocolate chips. Yes, chocolate chips are going in here. Eventually. This is already a stiff dough, so I want to mix this till all the flour is completely incorporated, especially on the bottom and on the spoon. The original recipe called for 3 cups of oatmeal, so I am cutting that back to 2 cups of oatmeal. So you can see I got flour on here. I'm going to scrape that off with a knife, that into the batter. So by cutting back the oatmeal, I can add in more stuff. So I'm using, you want to use quick oats. So there's 1, 2. Now I'm going to mix this up because I want that oatmeal evenly distributed. And it just works better if you just kind of do this in stages. Get everything mixed up. That's how I do it. A lot of people don't. They just dump everything in. But even as I'm mixing this, you know, I can see spots where it's like just solid dough and no oatmeal. So this helps get it mixed in. And yes, it's a workout. So again, I'm going to scrape my spoon. And we're going to add in our cup of apricots. Nice dice of apricots there. And I also need to chop up my nuts, which I'm going to do right now. Kind of move stuff here. My camera kind of died on me, so I've got it plugged in at the same time. I like chopping my own nuts. There's something kind of relaxing about it. So here's my nuts, completely cold. And remember, we measured this out before we put it on the tray. Just a nice gentle rock through the nuts. You want to go both directions. The nuts have just a wonderful roasted smell. Now, because my nuts were in the freezer, I did do them a whole 15 minutes on that light colored baking sheet. If you've got a darker baking sheet, oh, I don't know. Those always kind of scare me because stuff will brown up too fast. Use a light colored one, 350. 15 minutes. So you can kind of see what size nuts I've got here. So I'm going to kind of hold them in my hand here and bring them up here. Oops, wrong way. See that? Okay, I'm going to put these in my bowl. It's one of the reasons I just love these things. One zip, it's all in there. Alright. Next, we need a cup of chips. Now, of course, I don't have regular chips. All I have is mini chips. That's okay. I usually use just the regular chips, okay? And I'm sorry, we don't want a cup, we want a half a cup. These are semi-sweet. Oops. Half a cup of chocolate chips. And we are going to mix. The chocolate and apricots are a wonderful flavor. The combination together with the citrus and the chocolate it's kind of like an orange chocolate flavor if you're into that. And then with the semi-sweet, which is kind of a darker chocolate chip, is even better. I'm thinking even like a dark chocolate chip would be good too, because there is a lot of sugar in these cookies. And boy, is that a stiff dough. Mix it well. So my oven is preheated at 350 because remember I toasted my nuts in there, so it's just been left on during my disasters and everything here. Wow. Stiff dough. So you want to mix it as well as you can. It's a stiff dough. So I'm trying to get the nuts and the apricots evenly mixed in the dough. Usually my rule of thumb is if I think it's mixed, mix it one more time. And then it seems to be completely mixed evenly. Okay. I'm going to get out my baking pans. And we'll start dishing these up. That's what your rounded tablespoon should look like. So you want to get 12 on your sheet. I got one more batch, one more roll, sorry. So excuse my fan, but it's getting warm in my kitchen. But these were in for 12 minutes. Usually my first batch is a little bit on the light side because I'm opening the oven between 8 and 12 minutes, checking them. But you want to let them sit on the tray for a minute before you remove them. Trust me, ask me why I know that. Because they'll fall apart. So here are my cookies. I got 8 in each package here. So I got 5 packages that are going to go into the freezer. And then I left out one package right here for me that I'm going to just stick in the fridge. These, like I said, these freeze really, really well. And pack well, travel well. Thanks for watching.